Welcome to this step-by-step guide on internal audit. In this video, I will explain which organizations are required to conduct an internal audit, why internal audit is essential for corporate compliance, how to plan an effective internal audit, the process of conducting an audit, and best practices for reporting and follow-up. I am CA Satyaranjan Jena, and my goal is to provide you with practical insights that can help you strengthen your audit processes and ensure compliances. If you find this content useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more expert guidance on finance and compliance topics. So let's start. Internal audit for Indian companies. So let's understand what is the meaning of internal audit. An independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. Internal audit is like a company's internal detective or independent check on controls, risk, and processes to spot issues early. Definitely, every company will have a statutory auditor, but the frequency may be quarterly or maybe annually. But internal auditors, they can plan the audit either monthly or it could be a real time audit as well, right? So, any concerns, any issues can be highlighted in front of the management much earlier than the statutory auditors find that. Next point is mandatory under Indian regulatory framework. Companies Act 2013 mandates internal audit for certain class of companies under section 138. Now let's see what are the criteria. Listed companies, mandatorily there has to be an internal audit. There is no choice. Whereas unlisted public companies, any one of the following condition has to be fulfilled, then only the internal auditor has to audit the company. Paid up share capital 50 crores or more, turnover 200 crores or more, outstanding loans borrowing from bank 100 crores or more. If any one of these condition is fulfilled, then internal audit is mandatory. Coming to private companies, all three: turnover 200 crore or more, total assets 50 crore or more, outstanding loan borrowing from banks is 5 crore or more. So if all these three conditions are fulfilled, then internal audit under section 138 is mandatory for the private companies. Now, what is the purpose? So, as I explained you, purpose is ensures effectiveness of risk management, internal controls, compliance with laws like GST, FEMA, and other operational efficiencies. That means the management has identified certain areas where there is risk. It could be your SOD, it could be a case of fraud, and the internal auditors help the management in identifying these issues in a proactive approach. Coming to importance in Indian context, compliance with regulatory bodies like SEBI, RBI, IRDAI, NFRA, oversight, and emerging ESG related audits. Let's start with a question. Why is internal audit required? Are there any benefits from internal audit? So let's understand. Helps identify risk and control weakness early to prevent fraud and financial misstatements. Example, spots vendor kickbacks or GST faking before they blow up, right? So if you see in every company, there are a lot of processes which are defined by finance or defined by the businesses. Now, in that process, if there is an SOD, segregation of duty issue, that means one person doing everything, then the risk of fraud is very high. Or when the big company has lot of different processes, different people involved, then there is chance that few people they collide and then they can do a fraud, right? So internal auditors, they look into the process, they look into the responsibility and accountability of the people, and they find out if there is any risk which the management should look into it. Second point, ensures adherence to company policies like regulatory compliance and accounting standards, ensure Ind AS, SEBI, RBI rules, no fines or board headaches. Third, supports reliable financial reporting and trustworthy disclosure. Now let's take an example. Today in a listed company, the shareholders are investing based on the numbers what is published. Now, Tomorrow, if there is a news coming saying that the company has big amount of fraud, then what happens? The share price falls because the shareholders feels that it is high risk to invest in a company where big amount of frauds are disclosed in the market. Now, if the internal audit conducted by the company is really strong and they proactively find out issues and frauds, then the shareholders will have a lot of trust on that company and they will invest and they'll rely on the numbers what is published in the market. Next point, enhances operational efficiency through process improvements, finds process leaks like excess inventory tie up gas. Okay. So internal audit doesn't have any limit to any process. They get into everything based on the scope defined by the management, and then they identify which are the area where the management should look into it. Last point, provides assurance to the audit committee and board on governance and control effectiveness. Obviously, the internal auditor has to report to the audit committee because audit committee has to take action on all high and medium risk, and the audit committee has to update the board on the governance side. So it is very much required that the internal auditor and the audit committee they work together for the betterment of the company. Now, if you are in the internal audit team, I'm going to talk about how to plan, how to conduct, and how to report so that it will help you to understand that how do you prepare yourself before you start your audits. So the first one, planning internal audit, foundation and preparation. The first point is review business strategy, objectives, and organizational structure because these are the basic which you should know before you start the audit. How the organizational structure is there, who is reporting to who has the control on others, and what is the objective of the business as well, right? Second point is understand regulatory landscape applicable to the company and sector because you should know that what are the requirements under the Companies Act. For example, the company need to spend 2% on CSR activity. If the internal auditor doesn't know the rule of 2%, then how he will verify that the company has really spent or not? So based on the company's nature, the internal auditor should be aware of the compliance requirement for that company so that when they test any document, when they test any process, they need to check that it is in compliance with the compliance requirement. Third, identify and create an inventory of all auditable entities, process, departments, subsidiaries, locations. Now, when you're doing an audit, it doesn't mean that you'll be doing only for the corporate office. You may visit the factory. There will be some processes which you need to verify the factory as well. There may be some processes which you may verify the warehouse processes or the dealer's place as well. So you have to make a complete inventory of all these requirements. Next, risk assessment. Prioritize high risk areas based on past audits, industry risk, and current business challenges. This is very important where the internal auditor, along with the management team and the CFO, should sit together and prioritize which are the activity they need to focus for the internal audit. Sometimes the internal auditor also gets the clue from the statutory auditor because while doing the statutory audit, if they have noticed certain areas where the internal auditors need to focus, then those areas also has been should be mapped to the planning. Last one, define audit objectives aligned with these risk and regulatory requirement. So when you are doing an audit, it should have some purpose. It's not that you are taking a scope just to fill the report. It has to be in alliance with requirement of the compliance and regulatory requirement. After planning the audit, the second step is formulation and scheduling. This is very important because you have to make the complete plan how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to interview the people. So everything has to be scheduled in a proper way. So create detailed audit plans specifying scope and boundaries of each audit engagement, audit frequency and timelines, consider past findings and risk profile, resource allocation, skilled auditors and budget. Okay, so you will have the team, so you have to plan it, who does which area. Logical sequencing of audits for efficiency, procure to pay before final close. So you have to make the order of audit as well. It's not happen that you do something now and again you have to revisit that because you're doing some other processes later. So it has to be in the sequence. So it will help you to connect the points. Next point is coordination with management and audit committee for input and approval. Because when you are progressing and you find something new development in the audit, then you can also check with the management whether you need to redefine the scope. Sometimes it may happen that you believe that there is no fraud or you believe that the process is working well, but during audit if you find some issues are there, then you can discuss with the management to enhance the scope so that you can get into more details to find if there is any issues. And the last one is planning for special audits on compliance areas like GST, FEMA, Ind-AS, or maybe direct tax, indirect tax. So you can plan that as well. After planning, the next step is conducting the internal audit. So let's see how to conduct the audit. Fieldwork education: collect, verify, and analyze data using checklists and audit programs. Assess the design and operating effectiveness of internal controls. Check if segregation of duties works. No one person approves and pays. Right? It's very important to check the SOD part. And you need to check the SOD in the system also, ERP. Sometimes it happened that in SAP you have access to create asset, you have access to capitalize the asset, you have access to do the depreciation. So everything is under your control. So you need to check that the SOD is properly maintained. Third, identify control gaps, deficiencies, and non-compliances. Rate findings high, medium, low. Suggest fixes with evidence. Then document findings with evidence. Provide clear recommendation. Now, once you find some issues, it's not that you just find the issues, but you also have to recommend how the controls need to be implemented. Last one, maintain communication with auditee for clarification and cooperative approach. It's not happened that you are following up with the auditee for many times. There should be proper planned with dates so that the documents and the data you get from auditee on time so that you can complete on time. So a regular meeting with the auditee always helps the auditor to complete the audit as per the timeline given by the management. The next step is reporting and follow-up. Prepare clear, concise audit reports highlighting objective, scope, methodology used for doing the audit. Next, findings, impact, root cause of those findings, and then recommendation for corrective actions. And if there is any fraud case and the auditor doesn't have the tools or knowledge of finding that audit frauds, then he can recommend to engage a third party who can come and do a forensic audit on those matters. Then communicate reports to management, audit committee, and the board. Track and follow up on implementation of recommended actions, because once you recommend, the business team has to agree for that. Once they agree, you need to see that you follow up and get it done. If it is not happening, then again you need to escalate it. And the last is periodic review and continuous improvement of internal audit process, because every year when you do, you learn what new processes the business is doing. You may redefine your internal audit process as well to find out any issues or risk if the management is having on those processes. Now coming to the last slide, conclusion and best practices. Internal audit is a valuable tool for risk mitigation, compliance, and operational excellence. Emphasize continuous monitoring and iterative planning to adapt to changing risk. Incorporate latest trends, digital audit tools, data analytics, ESG audits, because the way the automation is coming, because the way AI is coming in day-to-day finance work, digital audit tool is much required. Because instead of doing sample, these digital tools can help you to do complete audit of all the transactions. Next point is foster cooperation and transparency between auditors, management, and audit committee. It's not happened that the management team doesn't listen to auditors and auditor is not reporting the high risk to the management. So there should be proper coordination. And I would recommend that the internal audit team should report directly to the board. If the internal audit team is part of the CFO or the management team, then chances that there could be a lot of manipulation between the teams. Maintain robust documentation to meet regulatory expectation. Okay. So that's it from my side. Hope you like this video. Obviously, internal audit is very important in every company. It's not that we don't trust the people of the company, but yes, any process where there is a loophole, you know, the bad guy or the person who want to take the advantage of that obviously takes the advantage, and that is how the resources of the company are not properly used, and people take extra benefit of those loopholes in the process. So internal audits, I would suggest that should be mandatory for all the company. It's not that because of a companies act requirement only you need to do it. Even a small companies would have internal audit to ensure the management that all the processes defined by the company is working well. That's it from my side. If you have not subscribed to my channel, request you to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends. If you have any question, please write in the comment. I'll reply to that. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.